The U.S. Navy has expressed interest in obtaining funding to begin development of its future SSN-X attack submarine. The SSN-X program aims to replace the current Virginia-class submarines and provide the Navy with enhanced capabilities to meet evolving strategic challenges. The Navy's request for funding is driven by the need to maintain a technologically advanced and capable submarine force. As the Virginia-class submarines reach the end of their expected service life, the Navy is looking to invest in the next generation of attack submarines to ensure maritime excellence and deterrence. The SSN-X program is expected to incorporate advanced technologies and capabilities, such as enhanced stealth, enhanced range, improved sensors and new weapon systems. These advances are critical to maintaining the Navy's underwater dominance and addressing emerging threats in the rapidly evolving global security landscape. However, securing the necessary funding for the SSN-X program will depend on a variety of factors. The Navy needs to present its case to Congress and the Department of Defense, demonstrating the strategic importance and long-term benefits of future attack submarine investments. The budgeting process involves negotiation, assessing competing priorities, and considering overall defense spending. Ultimately, the decision to allocate funds for the SSN-X program will be made based on strategic needs, available resources, and national defense priorities. It is important to note that specific budget allocations and timelines for the SSN-X program may not be available until a formal announcement is made or until the latest information becomes accessible to the public. For the most accurate and up-to-date information on the status of the SSN-X program and its funding, it is advisable to consult official Navy sources, government publications, or reputable defense news outlets. The U.S. Navy requested funds to begin developing requirements for a new attack submarine, now known as SSN-X, as well as examining related technologies and operational concepts, in its latest annual budget request. The fact that the service is interested in a new submarine focused primarily on attack surface ships and other submarines, is similar to the initial plans for the significantly truncated Seawolf class, which first surfaced just over a year ago. The Virginia-class submarines are a class of fast, nuclear-powered attack submarines used by the U.S. Navy for a variety of missions, including anti-submarine warfare, intelligence gathering, and strike operations. This program has been ongoing for several years, with several submarines built and commissioned. Like any major military acquisition program, the Virginia-class submarines require significant funding and resources. The U.S. Navy typically allocates its budget based on a variety of factors, including strategic priorities, operational requirements and available funds. While budget constraints can sometimes affect defense projects, it is important to consider that funding decisions are influenced by a complex set of factors and can be adjusted under changing circumstances. The Navy wants $1 million to start initial work on the SSN-X program in its budget proposal for fiscal year 2021. The service also expects to receive at least $1 million annually through fiscal year 2025. The budget document also notes that this is a fresh start project not to be confused with a separate budget for the new design SSN, which pays for research and development related to future block of Virginia-class attack submarines. It's also important to note that Congress still has to approve the Navy's request. The U.S. Navy must produce and maintain a fleet of submarines that has sufficient capabilities to protect America from current and future threats, the SSN-X section of the budget proposal explains. The SSN-X is necessary to sustain the submarine force structure, and will be designed to counter emerging threats posed by nearly equal adversary competition for underwater supremacy. In recent years, the U.S. Navy has been outspoken about increased Russian submarine activity, particularly on the North Atlantic and East Coast of the United States, a concern you can read in more detail about in a recent War Zones article. The service is also faced with a dramatic increase in the size and capabilities of the Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy, including its submarine force, which is increasingly active throughout the Pacific, as well as other regions of the world. Unlike the Virginia-class submarine, which was designed for multi-mission coastal dominance, the SSN-X will be designed for higher transit speeds under conditions of increased stealth in all ocean environments, and carry a larger stockpile of weapons and payloads. While the SSN-X will be designed to maintain a multi-mission capability and sustained combat presence in denied waters, the new priority of anti-submarine warfare, ASW, missions against sophisticated threats in increasing numbers will impact the design trading space even more. The Congressional Budget Office revealed the first details about the Navy's plans for a new attack submarine in a report in October 2018. At the time, CBO analysts said the idea design would be similar in size to the first two examples of the Seawolf class and faster, more stealthy, and carried more torpedoes than any existing Virginia-class submarines. Block I through Block 4 Virginia will all have a standard payload of 37 Mk-48 heavyweight torpedoes. The larger Block V ships will have a larger payload of 65 Mk-48 seconds. Seawolf can carry up to 50 of these torpedoes. The Navy originally planned to buy 29 Seawolves, but ultimately received only 3, all of which are now heavily modified special-purpose submarines. The first-class USS Seawolf and USS Connecticut have a submerged displacement of approximately 9,100 tons, more than the 1,000 tons of Block I Virginias. The third Seawolf, USS Jimmy Carter, was 100 feet longer and over 3,000 tons due to the addition of a highly specialized multi-mission platform, MMP, section added to the hull. You can read more about this modification, which is part of a broader change to allow ships to carry out covert intelligence gathering and espionage missions. In addition, the Navy continues to struggle to balance its shipbuilding budget with other priorities and continues to struggle to find a realistic path to meet the congressional mandated goal of a total fleet of 355 ships and submarines. At the same time, with respect to the procurement of submarines in particular, the service has allayed concerns about how real costs are growing in the acquisition of already very expensive Columbian-class ballistic missile submarines may have an impact on future budgets. As it stands, the Navy doesn't expect to start accepting SSNX until as early as 2038. The Navy's request for funding demonstrates the importance of developing the next generation of attack submarines to meet evolving maritime challenges. Submarines play a critical role in a nation's defense strategy, providing stealth, long-range strike and intelligence-gathering capabilities in both peacetime and wartime scenarios. The SSNX program aims to enhance the Navy's capabilities by incorporating advanced features such as enhanced stealth, extended operational range, enhanced sensor systems, and increased payload capacity. These advances will enable the Navy to maintain its dominance in the underwater domain and effectively address emerging threats. Securing funding for major defense programs is a complex process. The Navy needs to make a compelling case for the SSNX program, demonstrating its strategic importance, technological advances, and cost-effectiveness relative to other defense priorities. Availability of resources, competing demands on the defense budget, and political considerations will all influence the decision-making process. The outcome of the budget discussions will determine whether the Navy can proceed with development and construction of the SSNX attack submarine. As with any defense project, securing funding is a critical step that requires careful planning, cooperation with lawmakers, and alignment with national defense priorities.